So first things first, when we talk about high quality data, what do we actually mean? Well, there's two things, in my opinion, when it comes to high quality data, and that means that it's accurately coded from a bookkeeping standpoint, as well as consistently coded. And those are very similar, but they are two different and very distinct things. When we're talking about accuracy and accurately coded data, we're talking about data that's been verified against source documents in some way, shape, or form. And so, keep in mind that this is either you doing it or your clients doing it, but the main point is that there's some quality assurance in place in the bookkeeping process. And I'm picking on this because it's easy to take financial data at face value. So if you're not doing the data entry, a lot of inaccuracies can persist. And if you're not checking them, those errors in the coding can then skew the historical results, which if you're creating future-looking forecasts, often your forecasts are based on historical estimates, so it skews your perceptions of what will be happening in the future. And so accuracies can be something as simple as the amount's wrong, the date's wrong, but it could also be something in terms of expenses versus capitalization. So a good example would be a one-time large repair that should be capitalized is put on as an expense in the profit and loss statement. And so if you're creating an expense forecast moving forward, you've now got this big lump payment that if you're taking an average of that expense account, you're now overestimating your expenses on a go-forward basis. So your forecast is already inaccurate. So really getting accurate data is important. So that's the accuracy piece. And related to that, as I mentioned, is consistency. So consistent coding is a related concept, but it is different. So when we're saying that something needs to be accurate, it also needs to be consistent, meaning it needs to be accurately coded the exact same way in the accounting system time and time again. And so if it's not done that way, again, it will skew past results, which then skew your future expectations. So a good example would be vehicle expenses. Maybe it's not the best example, but it's a good example. So vehicle expenses there could be three accounts. You could have vehicle expenses in your profit and loss statement. You could also have travel expenses, and you could also have lease expenses. And it would be very common for a client to code vehicle expenses to any one of those three accounts. And if they do so over the course of 12 months, say 4 months each, you now have three places where one expense was coded throughout the year. And so if you're really looking at the past historical information to then create your forecast, it's really hard to discern exactly what the expenses are and how much they are because they're in three different spots. So again, the data has to be not only accurate, but consistently coded accurately in the same spot. And so the real moral of the story here is trends are your friend. And I always love it. I'm a CFA, and so trends are my friend. The more accurate and consistent the data is in your accounting system, the more you can spot those trends. And the more that you can spot and identify trends, the more you can use those in your future forecasts, which then gives you the ability to create beautiful, precise, overall forecasting pictures for your clients. So, really getting data to a point where you can get good trends is really important. So accurate and consistent.